Lightning like Steve McQueen. I'm in the fast lane when the light turns green. And I built tough, I ain't nothing but grit. Cause I made rugged blood, sweat, and spit. Yeah, like a horse I fly. Better push yourself in for a bumpy ride. I like to play hard, but I work harder. And I weather the storm cause I'm built stronger.
What is up, ladies and gentlemen? We are back. We are live. It is the Freight Coach Morning Show, the top morning show in transportation, coming to you guys every single weekday, 8:30 a.m. Pacific, 10:30 Central, to break down some industry headlines, and most importantly, provide some actual insight into what you can do with all of this information. If this is your first time tuning in, welcome. This is the real side of freight, ladies and gentlemen. And what do I mean by that when I say that? I say that because I only speak to transportation professionals on this show, as well as my twice-a-week long-form podcast, because I want to put the right information out there from the people who have done what you're looking to do or who are currently doing what you're trying to achieve, so you can take all that information, apply it, utilize it, and see a meaningful difference in your business and your life. It's one of the many, many reasons why I probably fly this American flag behind me every single day. A, we're the greatest nation on earth, but B, I'm living my American dream, and I want to help each and every one of you live yours as well. Let's see here. We got solo show today. I got a guest on tomorrow. Sorry, I lost my train of thought there for a second. But yeah, we're going to break down some articles here. And yeah, we got a guest on tomorrow. And then Friday's Q&A day, you guys. So as always, if you have any sales or operations related questions, drop them in the chat or DM them over to me, and I will answer them live on the show on Friday. Yeah, but before we go any further, SP Freight watching on YouTube. What is up? Good morning, all. Tracy St. Clair, good morning to you. She's watching on YouTube as well. Bill McIntyre, good morning to you. Corey Buchan, happy hump day to you as well, my man. What was I going to say? Yeah, so we got a lot of stuff going on today. I got, I've had like 7 trucks deliver already this morning. It's been a great week so far. Hectic, stressful, yes, all of the above, but we're making it happen one truck at a time. And yeah, I wanted to talk today about, because again, I used to put out all those little daily clips out there when I first started creating content, and Wednesday was always Weather the Storm Wednesday. And because the reality is, you guys, a lot of stuff can and will go wrong in this industry. It's not always going to be easy. It's not always going to be a walk in the park or whatever else you want to call it. And from my perspective, when things go wrong is like the greatest opportunity to build on those relationships and to really solidify those partnerships with your customers, right? Because again, anybody can do this job when it's easy, right? When it picking up on time, delivering on time, all that stuff, anybody can do this job and it's great. But when things go wrong, that's when partnerships are forged. That's when things are really solidified. And from my perspective, unfortunately, I've had shipments stolen in my career. All right. And you got to walk some of those situations back, right? Because I think a lot of the shady stuff that goes on in this industry is very self-inflicted. I think laziness is the ultimate indicator to some of these fraudsters and scammers that you're an easy target. And when I say that, I mean, when you're out there working freight, if you or your reps clearly do not care if a load gets covered or not, and you're very nonchalant, picks here, delivers here, this is what it pays, take it or leave it, you're a target. And then you can even take it a step back further. How are you posting those loads if you're utilizing a load board? And again, I'm a fan of load board as a crutch, not a necessity. How are you posting those loads? Are you openly advocating for your freight to possibly get stolen? And you might be thinking to yourself, what do you mean by that? Are you posting commodities in your postings? And if you are they like high value stuff? Because I moved a lot of energy drinks in my career. There was a lot of security steps in place to haul those loads. Are you moving freight that's like easy to be moved on the streets, right? I'm talking like, bottled water, certain beverages, maybe some makeup or, certain commodities that, again, they're maybe not high value freight, but they could easily be moved on the street. You need to look at that because you're targeting yourself, right? Like you're exposing yourself to a lot of these scammers, right? Because a lot of these guys who are doing it, guess where they all are? Load boards. Again, I'm not faulting load boards or anything like that, but that's where a lot of them start. They scour that, they see, because a lot of this stuff is tied together. So you got to think about this as you're out there posting freight. How am I posting it? Right? Am I putting too much information out there? Am I openly advocating for that to happen? Or even further, hypothetical example, you're trying to get a load coverage for $5,000. That's what you're trying to pay a carrier. Every carrier out there, I need 58, I need 65, I need 6, I need 57. Nobody is anywhere near it. But then you get this one phone call where you tell them the load's paying $5,000, and then they ask you, "Well, are you making any money on this load?" And then you're like, "No, I'm not actually. I'm actually losing money, or I'm breaking even." And then they're like, "Oh, well, I'll do it for 48 then, or 47, because we all deserve to make money." I know that there's a lot of nice people in this industry. Never had that happen to me ever, and then had it not end up where it picked up on time and delivered on time. So again, a lot of those situations, you guys, are very self-inflicted. There's some great carrier vetting software that's out there, Broker Carrier, for example. But there's a lot of great technology that's out there. But at the end of the day, you got to have the human element inside. You can't automate everything, right? You need to trust your gut in a lot of these situations, and you need to look at, am I openly exposing myself or my organization for something bad to happen? And I want you guys to be very much aware of that as you are going about and you're trying to get loads covered and everything else, because frankly, at the end of the day, bad things can and will happen in this industry, and how you handle them is so crucial, right? So be a partner in those moments. Do not wait. If you know something's happening, bring it to someone's attention right away, i.e., your customer, the shipper, the receiver, whomever, right? Be a partner in those moments. And that is where the real value lies in this industry. Again, walk through there, bring those updates to them, let them know what's going on, getting if you got the insurance companies involved, authorities involved, whatever that looks like, bring that information to your customers, because at the end of the day, you guys, that's what they're looking for. That's where the real value lies. Yes, price is a factor, but at the end of the day, you guys, most people run. Most people run when things are happening where it's challenging or perceived an issue. And that's where customers need the partnership the most. And that's what we all sell on, right? We all sell on that right away. So you can't walk that walk when it's easy, but then turn your back on your customers when something happens, because that's the greatest separator in this industry, whether you're a carrier or broker. In my opinion, that's the greatest separator that's out there. That's what's going to continue to get you more and more business, is by operating in that capacity. So that's my little spiel, as I always like to do here. Zena, what is up? She says, hello, everyone. Greetings from Avanza Logistics. Sam Hunter, what is up, my man? Thanks for tuning in, Sam. Good to see you as always. Let me see here. Thomas Weirden says, morning, y'all. Glad to be able to make it yeah, I appreciate you tuning in, man. I know you guys are all busy out there, and that's why I try and keep the show to 30 minutes or around that every single day, is because I know everybody out there is working, they're building. That's why you guys tune into the shows, because we're all in this together, right? I'm out here trying to make this work just like you guys are. Adolfo Rodriguez, buenos dias. Good to see you, my man. Aaron Tristle says reliability is number one. That's it, man. Reliability in every aspect, every single aspect out there. But let's break down some articles, you guys, today. As always, the links to all of these articles are going to be uploaded into the YouTube channel, as well as the Coffee with the Freight Coach audio only replay, which is available on iTunes and Spotify almost immediately after the show. But let's get into it. Let's break some articles down. And let me see here. The first article we are going to break down today is from fleetowner.com. And it is using safety technology to achieve operational excellence. And it goes on to talk about the holiday season is near, and with that becomes increased road traffic. And again, I'm learning a lot about this stuff, and what comes along with, outward facing cameras and everything. I'm not exactly sold on inward facing. I think that, again, at the end of the day, it's all got to be dependent upon the company. But I think that having technology inside of your vehicle to help increase safety, again, any driver that's out there who listens to the show, you guys all know that there's a bunch of incompetent people driving on the freeways all the time, and they put uh, drivers at risk nonstop, and truck drivers, excuse me. And I would want to have all of like, I would want to have all that technology on my vehicle to ensure my driver's safety in um in every situation. Hold on one second, you guys. I got a truck getting loaded right now. The driver just sent me a photo of that truck, and yeah, give me just one sec, you guys. Again, like I said, I'm in this with you all. Let me see here. All right. Sorry about that. But, again, you guys, this is the realities of all of this stuff. I'm going to work. I'm in it. I'm trying to figure this stuff out. I'm trying to make a lot of stuff happen at once. And this is the real side of everything, right? Like, I'm not sugarcoating anything. I'm trying to figure it out. There is no clear path of success. It takes a lot of effort. But anyways, you guys, it goes on to say 39% of weather-related vehicle crashes occur in wintry conditions. Shocking. With 15% of those occurring during sleet and snowfall, and 24% happening on icy, slushy, or snowy pavement. And that comes from the Department of Transportation out there. And let me see. I appreciate that, Sam. Reality Freight Coach Show. Amen. Because trucks haul more than 72% of the nation's freight by weight. Per the American Trucking Association, truckers and their managers must ensure safety on the road. And thanks to advances in technology, there are multiple companies ready to help fleet managers and drivers reach and maintain safety goals. And among the dozens of fleet management technology and software, a lot of stuff out there. Technology is part of the fabric of trucking, and today the best companies drive a tremendous, return on investment when it comes to tech that's out there. And having a full fleet of safe drivers and employees can help companies reach that next level. Again, I've talked to a lot of insurance friends of mine who are in insurance out there, and obviously a lot of this stuff adds to helping out with your premiums as well as keeping those premiums down. And then making safety a core improves operations. And then safety is always a topic out there. And then more and more companies today are realizing that they cannot achieve operational excellence without making safety a core value. Um, Let me see. And then further, addressing safety within the company should come from the top down, and then having leadership that it brought into its core values. And and that's the thing, right? A lot of these topics and a lot of this stuff out there has to be top down. It can't be expect the certain people of your organization to do it and then you don't abide by that. And let me see. If a company establishes uh, a safety as a core value, building trust with their drivers, this desire for respect will be addressed. They go on to say that because to build trust, you have to have an effective two-way communication, consensus building, and everything out there. When leadership commits to making safety a core value and that it's non-negotiable, each employee will understand that everybody owns safety. And then it creates a better trusting atmosphere, and where people genuinely care for one another and are able to demonstrate it. And let me see here. And then once the atmosphere is set, people get excited, Martin said. And then trips are completed without incident or hazards. And those improvements lead to better customer service and more trucks operating on the road, experiencing less downtime. And then as a result, the company will have happier technicians with improved maintenance. And, that's a very big thing out there, right? It's preventative maintenance, in having all of that stuff set up to keep your fleet on the road or your truck on the road. Um, Sorry, my computer frozen up here. And then let me see here. And then it goes on to say, additionally, to talking about technology puts departments in winning positions where they're really have a great opportunity to provide better customer service that's going on out there. And, again, this is a really good article, but it's also that reminder, you guys, that it is winter months. And with that being said, are we talking to drivers about, having the right equipment in there, bringing chains along with them and stuff? Because, again, I live in Arizona. We don't get bad weather out here, right? Outside of, the freezing cold temperatures that we have right now being 55 degrees at night. But outside of that, are you preparing, your drivers and keeping everybody informed? Because weather is a very real thing here for the next 6 months, essentially. And, again, are we talking about that? Because again, when it really boils down to it, you guys, there is no truck that is worth a human life. All right. Do not, if there's bad weather, like there should be no reason to push anybody to do anything at the end of the day. So that article, you guys, is from fleetowner.com, and it's using safety technology to achieve operational excellence. And let me see here. All right. So let me see. Erica Hamilton, what is up? Good morning to you. All right. Next article we're going to break down, and I saw this one pop up this morning. I had to pull it up and talk about it because it is from joc.com. And it is dry van truckload capacity in no hurry to exit the bear market, says analysts, which shout out to all of my owner operators and small fleets making it happen. At the end of the day, keep fighting. All right. I think that's one of our biggest things is we just got to keep fighting and making it happen, because no matter what, you're a lot closer to things changing than not at this point. And I know that I've been saying this a lot lately, but it's very true. The reality is a lot of individuals, um, you know, it as dire as it seems, right? And again, I just want to, to level with you guys. Like again, I'm bootstrapping everything, right? Like everything that I'm doing and have done is, it's self-paid, right? Like everything that comes in and when the markets are up, down, whatever it looks like, things are challenging. And at the end of the day, you're going to feel a lot better when you get to that next level, when things change and the revenue increases and everything that happens. This is where things, like how you're operating right now, it's so worth it when things change, right? And I, me personally, I've just fallen in love with the build. I've fallen in love with the build and the process that comes along with it. And from my perspective, it is, how you operate right now is exactly how you want to operate in the up market and everything else. Stash that cash. I'm going to have some more podcasts released here with some people that, CPAs and, fractional CFOs and everything else. And it just helps you out to learn how to, how to move, how to maximize your money at the end of the day. How do you maximize all of that stuff? So anyways, back to the article here. And then it goes on to say, why is dry van truckload capacity exited more slowly than many expected? That question is on the minds of many in the trucking sector, with Dave Jackson, the CEO of Knight Swift, recently saying we're puzzled as to why we haven't seen more capacity come out. It's because we got a bunch of fighters out there. That's why. And that's what we need to get out. And that's what we need to get out here. Let me see here. And H2, 2020 through early 2022, it talks about how freight markets spiked. And let me see, firms operating in that truckload sector, either local carriers or those operating long distance, defined by the Census Bureau out there, saw unprecedented increases in freight rates, as we all know. And then going on to service, it talks about that. I don't need to go back and go over the last couple of years. Service diversification into less price sensitive sectors that are out there. And then establishments that primarily provide general freight trucking, long distance truckload services don't just offer these services. Data from the economic census indicates that only 53% of these revenues came from traditional over-the-road dry van transportation. Um, and then flatbed temperature controlled, the remaining 40% of revenue comes from of the other specialized um, freight that is out there, flatbed, temp controlled chemicals and dry bulk. The pricing for these specialized services has been more resilient during the current freight market downturn, which can be seen by the full producer price index declining to a much lower degree than the primary version of the index, which only captures over the road drive-in services. For example, whereas the primary services version of the index of September 2023 is up 14% from February of 2022 levels, the full index is up 27%. And let me see here. And then larger average size of new entrant motor carriers. And so I'm sorry, man. Give me just 1 second here, you guys. All right. Just had to keep everybody informed, you guys, because in my world, in the open deck world, we have shipper, receiver, and customer, and none of them are the same company. So, got to have multiple moving parts out there. But, anyways, you guys, larger average size of new entrants of motor carriers, and then perhaps one of the most misunderstood concepts about which firms shed trucking capacity is attributing exit to a smaller carriers when in fact carrier age is a far more powerful variable, especially when we talk about companies exiting. Young carrier age is by far the most powerful factor at work. Thus, it is helpful to rephrase the question: why have we seen young trucking firms not shed capacity as expected? One potential explanation has to do with the fact that there is a freight coach morning show no, I'm just kidding. That the average size of new entrant general freight trucking companies founded since March of 2018 have been substantially larger than the size average of new entrant general freight trucking companies founded from March 2012 to 2018 based on data. For example, the average new entrant for the early period had 2.8% employees firm. That number has increased to 3.5 employees per firm for the later period, a 25% increase that was out there. And then critically, larger average company size reduces the rate that jobs are destroyed. Thus, capacity may be slower to exit because new entrant general freight trucking companies over the past few years have been larger in the past, with the greater resources that comes with the larger size, helping them make it through the challenging freight cycle. And I do want to note, because I follow a lot of trucking companies on social media, and there's a guy who I follow on YouTube, and he was talking about that recently, how they were up to like 7 trucks, but now they're down to like 2 or 3. So their capacity, and I think that that's kind of like, to break down what they're saying there is the capacity is still in the market because the business is still technically moving. And from my perspective, that since that MC hasn't lapsed or anything like that, that's where a lot of this is coming from. That's why a lot of these trucking companies are still showing that they're staying in business from the smaller perspectives, is they maybe downsize their fleet, but the MC is still valid. Again, I'm not exactly sure how a lot of these people pull their data and what they get this stuff from at the end of the day, but just based on what they're saying and what I'm hearing out there, that's a general consensus of what I can come to. And then when will it balance? It is unlikely that the supply and demand for dry van trucking will reach an equilibrium before the second quarter of 2024. And that is an optimistic date. Historically, declines in trucking payrolls in response are quite gradual. And if you remove yellow from the departure, the payroll data isn't pointing towards this decline, although there are some reasons to suspect that the payroll data is overestimating trucking employment out there. And then even if capacity is exiting, to the best of my knowledge, we have never entered a bull market in trucking pricing cycle because too much capacity leaving, rather unanticipated rate increases in demand have driven the bull market, such as the record single family housing starts in 2004 and 2005. This article was written by Jason Miller. And if you guys aren't following him, he's a professor at Michigan State. I would follow him. He puts out really good content, and it helps you think about things from a different perspective, right? And that's where, from my situation right now, I follow multiple data points out there, right? That article, you guys, I'm sorry, was from the JOC, and it was dry van truckload capacity and no hurry to exit, which is great. I love it. I love that there's capacity staying in the market. I love that people are fighting it out and keeping their dreams alive, because that's really what it boils down to. Um, Now, following multiple people who, in companies from a data perspective, I think is key. I think sometimes when you read certain headlines and certain companies are putting out content, you got to understand that they're only a limited data source, right? No matter what, even the largest data providers in the transportation don't account for everything. And that's why I follow multiple people who obviously, I know are vetted and they're not just kind of spouting off. Um, I think it's crucial to understand where things are going from those perspectives, right? Because they're all telling the truth to a certain point, in my opinion. And then again, that's where that real world experience really starts to come in and help you guys decipher what means what when you're going through. Again, I think shout out to everybody who's fighting it out right now and making things work, because in my opinion, it's a lot closer to it changing than not. So yeah, you guys, that was a good article. Patrick Provrance, what is up? Good morning to you. J-Man 493 did Flexport buy Convoy. Thoughts? The last I saw of that, it was more in talks to buy it. I haven't seen anything yet. Um, but again, I put my thoughts out there about the Convoy situation last week. And at the end of the day, I hate seeing people lose their jobs. I hate seeing things happen, but the reality is there's going to be an opportunity. And for those who have lost their job this year, you're going to be able to look back and see that this was the one thing that happened that pushed you in the direction that you needed to make it happen in your life, to make that change and everything else. But Flexport buying Convoy, I'll report on it when it becomes official out there. But that is going to be it for today, you guys. I do have a guest tomorrow on tomorrow's show, and then Friday is Q&A day. Okay, so if you have any sales or operations related questions, drop them in the chat on Friday's show. DM them over to me. I will answer them live on the show. But yeah, that's going to be it, you guys. As always, if you guys got value, subscribe to the show, you guys. Share it out there to your network. That's how we reach more and more people. That's how we help more and more people at the end of the day, because if you see value, your network's going to see value as well. I appreciate you guys. I love you guys, and we'll be talking to you soon.